Hey guys, Solo Dev here, and today we're going to talk about implementing interfaces in C++. It's going to be a good one, so let's get started. All right, so in our sample project here, we have a new interface folder, and I've created one interface, and this interface is called IAnimations. And this one we're going to attach to our animation instant base that's going to allow us to tell the base when our gate changes or when we change weapons. In Unreal Engine, interfaces let you define a set of functions that our actor or blueprint can implement, no matter their class or parent. You can create interfaces in both C++ and blueprints, which means you can keep your game logic consistent across code and visual scripting. For example, you might have a interact interface that works for doors, NPCs, or pickups, whether they're coded in C++ or set up in blueprints. This flexibility helps Unreal developers keep their projects, modular, organized, and easy to expand without breaking existing systems. You can use a blueprint interface in C++ because blueprint interfaces are a C++ version of that blueprint interface is created by the engine. So they work back and forth. It's like a two-way street. You create one in C++ and it work in blueprint and vice versa. So in Unreal, declaring an interface is a two-step process. First, you use the UInterface macro to define a special Unreal class that allows your interface to be used in both C++ and blueprints. Right after that, you declare a regular C++ class with the same name, but prefixed with an I. For example, IAnimations in our case. The UInterface macro sets up the Unreal reflection system so that the engine knows about your interface, while the C++ class actually declares the functions you want other classes to implement. This setup is what lets your interface work seamlessly with Unreal's editor, blueprints, and other C++ code. As you see here, we have, our ufunction macro with our function name, update anim gate, and then we have the actual contract or what we want classes to implement, which is that virtual void, same name underscore implementation. And then we have one for our weapon here. And the CPP is nothing more than just your include the animation H file. That's all that is. No other code goes in there. So we open up our anim instance base, and we want to, of course, include that H interface animation H file. And then we declare it by doing a public IAnimations, and that I use a double I because in the editor, I want to see IAnimations when I do a search. I want to do a search for IAnimations, not just animations. So the double I is there, and it'll strip out that first I, as we'll see here in a second when we jump over to the editor. And then we're declaring the functions in the class. Our CPP knows about it. And if you were following along from the last video, I showed at the end of that video just putting these properties directly in the animation blueprint, that gate and that weapon. I just moved them over to here to be consistent. In our CPP, just like with any other function, we just implement the functions here. And in our case, we're setting the gate property, and then we're going to print it to the log what the new gate is. And then in the weapons, update weapons, we just set our weapon property. And that's pretty much it on the C++ side of things. So let's pop over to the editor, and let's go into the Anim's blueprint, so our ABP Mani TS. And as you see, we got our interface here. It's tied to our C++ on our base class, so it's implemented here. Our new properties are there. You can see them here in the window here. And now if we go to class settings, scroll down, inherited interfaces is where you will see it now. So our IAnimations, where you see that double I, that's why I use a double I. So you see that name, you know it's an interface, IAnimations. So that is tied to our base class, which is tied to our ABP Mani TS class. Now, if we were to just pop into the regular ABP Mani, or any other blueprint, we could go to the class settings and go to implemented interfaces and search for IAnimations, and you'll see it, and it works just like if you were using a blueprint interface. Back that out. We don't want to save that. Okay. So now let's go into our character class, and I got a key print, a key event, or key press event, keyboard event, I. And we grab our mesh and we get the animation instance from the mesh. That's all we need to grab. And then we want to make sure that this animation blueprint implements our eye animations. If it doesn't, then we don't want to do anything and we just want to stop. And if it does, we want to keep going. It kind of helps you from crashing your game if you happen to have a animation blueprint on there that doesn't implement our interface. So in true, we're going to call the update animation gate. The target is IAnimations, or based on our anim instant that becomes our target, and it's IAnimations event or function call, and then we're going to set it to walking, and it should show up in our log. So if we hit run, I'm going to press I twice, jump out, and go into our log. And as you see it right there, and that came directly from the pressing the I key and showing up in our animation blueprint. So we just told our animation blueprint that we have a new gate, and this is our new gate. And so it'll set all the C++ code or run all the C++ code we want, and it shows up. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you learned something from it, and I will talk to you guys again next time. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. It really helps me out. Thanks.